next I have Chai Simone, indie horror director, producer. Chai, welcome back on my show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. This is an interesting topic that we're about to get into.
Yes. So tell me about your experience with the Face of Horror competition, or the Face of Horror.
Yes. So thankfully mine isn't that extensive compared to other people's because this is the second year of Faces of Horror and like people have already been through it, and that's the interesting part is it's also the only second year of Face of Horror. But basically how I came across it is it's just kind of a name that's been around in the horror community, especially on Facebook. I followed the Facebook group, not really like interested per se whatever. But I saw that it was just a horror magazine. I was like, "Oh cool, I'll follow that and then maybe something will pop up." And I believe it was an Instagram ad where I actually saw the magazine first advertise like a more direct advertisement going through like the contest and the reward tiers and all of course like all of it sounds like freaking so cool and so amazing. Kane, who played Jason in the movies, and $13,000, and then there was other stuff on the website where I think they even had like a workshop in there, and then of course there's the whole thing where you get to do they made it kind of sound like is they fly you out to LA and you get to do the photo shoot with Kane, Kane Hodder. So of course, I'm just like, it's free to enter, shoot my shot. Ever since Hurricane Hillary in Vegas happened, it's been kind of a rough time. It took out my car, it took out one of my jobs, so I was just like, I could really use the money right now, especially because I'm trying to fund my movie. So I'm like, sure, $13,000 would go such a long way, and I've recently done a couple horror photo shoots that really would fit the profile. So I beefed up my profile. My profile is still active actually. And it's got all these great pictures and photos on it and everything. And I'm like, I'm not usually one who's like super like into contests. But that was the interesting thing about going into the contest is I shut up the ranks really, really quickly. So I went from when I entered, I went from I think around 50 or 31st place, and I just kept climbing the numbers up and up and up and up, and you kind of get to see who it was that I was competing with and everything, and obviously I started getting really invigorated because I was just like, oh my god, like I actually have like a huge chance of winning this thing.
Yeah.
Or that's what they like to make you think. So what happened from there is I got massive support from all of my friends and my family. They get roped in and into it, because they're vouching for you. And even my mom, she was like, and I wasn't even aware that it was an option at the time, but my mom actually did the pay for votes thing where you have the option of doing your free daily vote, and people were doing that, but you also have the option to buy votes. So it starts, I believe, at 10 votes. So there are different tiers of votes that you can buy, and they say that the votes, the money for votes goes towards charity. I believe like pediatric cancer.
Yeah. Plan B. I mean, not Plan B. B plus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I mean, it didn't go off for me then where you can pay for votes, but I was just like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing, and I didn't really think about it that much because there's the other side of it is where it's just like, oh, it goes to charity, so it's also a good cause. So my mom ended up putting $20 of total pay for votes in for me, and then I had another person who he's amazing, and he's been really supportive of my work so far, and he's actually invested in my Indiegogo for the film. He was like, I wish you all the best, and he actually put in $35, I think, 20 or $35 for the pay for votes thing. So I was just like, wow, like people are just helping me out and really believing me. And before I know it, and keep in mind, I was only in the contest for 2 or 3 days. It only took me, I think, 1 or 2 days to go up to first place.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, well, let's keep it up, guys, because and it's a, I'm like, well, I guess it's
Same thing I did.
Yeah. And, like my hopes are already just like, oh, like I feel like I have a really good chance because, not to be like, like roasting anyone or whatever, but my photos that I posted on my portfolio thing were the most professional, like nicest photos out of the top 20. So I was just like, oh, I got this. And then I got a message from someone who is kind of he's in the film industry. He works here and there on special effects and stuff. And he just left a comment. It was a little like it was a little personal, but the gist of the comment was, poor you, you not realizing it's a scam and y'all putting money into it, kind of thing. And I'm just like, okay, do you want to DM me about that? Do you want to like talk to me about whatever it is? But before I messaged him, but then, in my brain, I'm just like, oh, okay, let's take a step back because, things that are too good to be true and all of that. So I started doing my research, and lo and behold, coincidentally, we actually had our interview, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then I see your video when I type in Faces of Horror scam. Your video is the one with the most views.
Number one.
Yeah, number one. With over 1,000, I think over 1,000 likes or views.
About to come up to 2,000 soon.
Good. And so I watched your video all the way through, and it is very damning, but it also made a lot of sense. And I realized that basically it's a pyramid scheme, or a type.
It's a pay to win scheme.
To win, which, yeah, that's the most damning thing. That and the charity thing that you point, and there's so many angles to it, and it's
like one of the things I did. So I made a video before this competition even came back out because I was so pissed off about last year's one. And what pissed me off was, so they had a winner, but they were supposed to post the pictures of the winner in Road Morgue magazine and on their website. Nothing happened. Nothing. Buffalo Bill House, all them, nothing. And this, I was like, this is a fucking scam. So I made that video, and it is crazy enough. 3 months later, after that, that's when these pictures came up from the photo shoot. 3 months after I called them out, from when they were supposed to post the pictures, that's when these pictures came out. And I was like, there's no way in hell that they're going to come back with part 2 of this. There's no way in hell, because who is dumb enough to sign up for this thing again, right? And there's a lot of people who are, but I don't. But I'm not. But the part about it is that, like, I've took it to, you and I have talked. I've took it to the next step where, like, if you type in Face of Horror under YouTube search, it literally shows everybody's profile. And I just went through and just sent my video. And do you know, 50% of people were like, oh my God, thank you. My previous interview, thank you. I had no idea. Wow, it kind of seemed like a scam. But there's 50% of the people who have the hope. They're like, well, I don't care, or I will. It is what it is. And I think those individuals, I think they do care. I think that the hope is still there because they're thinking about that $13,000. And the economy is bad right now, even like the last one. People need money, and it's like a lottery ticket. It's like any of that. But the way that competition is structured, there are thousands of groups with 50 people in them. So everybody who's standing there in first place, you're in first place with 1,000 other people.
Exactly. Yeah. Just all the things that you bring up in the video are very I mean, first of all, we know them to be true. Things like the brackets, which is really, I mean, first of all, that was like, I saw just so many red flags, but the brackets thing where they put people in brackets, and I'm just like, oh, but at the same time, it makes sense, you know? It's just like, in what world, in such a massive competition, you know, where there are thousands of people entering in this thing, like literally, like I see it like
Hundred.
scattered all over friend groups and random people, like random Facebook people that I haven't talked to or barely talked to, or just a friend of a friend kind of thing. They're in the competition. And in what world would you enter in a competition and then just go up the ranks so fast? Like, obviously it's too good to be true, but that's why, is because they put you head to head in these groups with other people. You advance to the next round, and the brackets get smaller and smaller. But then, and I was reading from other people's comments and all of that, and what I've heard from other people, like other people who who you're actually gonna interview right after me, putting like all of this effort and basically campaigning as the competition narrows down more and more. But like, I told the whole thing to my dad too. He was just like, this is like dirty, like politics dirty, where literally it just boils down to who's putting in the most money.
It
And
is.
that's and
But
that's
but and something that was embarrassing for me was too is that you have to beg for votes. You know, you're constantly on social media asking people for help. And I felt like a lot of people knew it was a scam, but they were afraid to tell me it was a scam.
okay. So I was just like, I had a couple people come after me after I came out. I made a bunch of Instagram stories being like, it's a scam. Please just stop and let's pretend that this never happened. But then people would come to me after, and they would be like, oh, I was supporting you, but also I knew it was a scam. And I'm like, well, why did you tell me before, like, people started like putting money in that? But I'm like, okay, well, now we know. Now we're all in the know. But
But
I'm here talking to you, and I'm talking to other people as well, just to warn them so they don't, they're not just like in the dark about the whole thing.
exactly, and I'm going to show you everyone something live right now. Okay, so the guy who's running the competition name is Jim Vendola, right? This is his profile. Okay, so you would think if you had a social media profile and you were running a competition like this, it would be somewhere on your profile, right? You would put it on your Facebook, right? He doesn't advertise. He doesn't advertise this competition at all. He advertises his shitty movies. That's all he advertises. You go on to Kane Hodder, Jason's Facebook. You would think once again, Kane Hodder would advertise this competition. Kane doesn't have anything. I'm sorry, just the player. But you go into Kane Hodder's search whatever. He doesn't have anything about this competition on his Facebook. That's weird.
And also, can we talk about the photo shoot from last year of the winner?
It looks staged.
Like, it looks terrible.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean the wig and everything.
Yeah, it looks like someone took a picture with their phone and just like smile, and then put like some sort of cheap like free filter from the App Store over it.
It looks 100% staged.
Dude, it's not even like, no, necessarily, not any shade to the winner necessarily, because I don't know exactly what was going on with her, but we've been hearing some things where she put a lot of money into the competition in order to win, because people were putting thousands of dollars into this competition. And not only that, but I actually came across her Instagram today, and I was looking through it, and the pictures that she posted of the win, as a part of the rewards, I'm sorry, it just looks like shit to me. And I work, I model and I work with photographers and all of that. And like, it literally looked like she woke up, dabbed some mascara. Like, you could have, like, for the amount of money that went into this competition, where is the profession? There is no professionalism in this photo.
Zero.
It looks awful.
It looks bad. It looks like someone shot it with a cell phone.
Literally, I don't think did they even tag her?
Because a lot of people.
What is that? Like this? I think
Exactly.
I
because
think I recognize the filter. Actually, that's something that you could get on Prequel, or like, these lens flares.
A lot of people attack my video. A lot of people attack my video and say, "Well, there was a photo shoot." I'm like, that photo shoot was done 3 months after I made this video. Exactly.
You might as well go to a con and ask for a selfie with Kane.
With Kane.
And it was
$40. You can get it. Listen, I got one. $40.
Huh?
Listen, I've gotten a selfie with Kane. $40. That's what it costs. $40. And guess what? Kane Hodder goes to every single damn convention. So I don't care what state or city you're in. You can see Kane Hodder at a convention for $40 and get a picture. Nice guy, by the way.
Okay, that's cool.
But I don't know why he's. I don't know why he attached.
That's awful.
It is.
It's like someone's child took that.
I don't know why Kane Hodder attached himself to this scam. That's the part that. He seems like such a nice guy. I've met him on 2 separate occasions. Seems like a nice guy. Maybe he doesn't know it's a scam, and maybe they're offering him a big paycheck, and just to say, "Hey, welcome to the Face of Horror," and they should tell him to show up in a certain place for a photo shoot, and he's just like, "Whatever, thank you for $50,000."
I think it is I don't know him. I don't know where his mindset or his intention is, or Jim's for that matter. But at the end of the day, I think it's just the kind of thing where it's just like they're grabbing the bag, Because
it's a great scam. It's an amazing scam.
But where it really gets me is that you have to pay in order to vote, and that's just a scam, blatant scam right there.
But it's an amazing scam. I'm telling you right now, I'm kind of envious because I thought of the scam, because every single horror fan says, what did every horror fan say? I'm the biggest horror fan. We all say that. And now you put a competition out there that can give you that crown of the biggest horror fan. And you just got to put a little bit of money into it,
Yeah. Okay, so here's an interesting thing too. You don't even need to, if you look at a lot of the profiles, a lot of people do put, a lot of their amazing work on the profiles. Like, the person who I just talked to today, and I reached out to them and I'm like, hey, I don't want to deter you from whatever it is you want to do, but I just want to let you know this is kind of what is going on right now. They have a gorgeous profile, like amazing pictures of horror themed stuff and makeup and all of that. And I have the same thing on my profile. But at the end of the day, it's not a talent competition. It's not even necessarily a popularity competition. It's just, it's all financial. It all comes down to finances. And that's just awful, because at the end of the day, if you are really in it to win it, how much money do you have to put down? And then what's going to be left? It doesn't make any
sense. I was going to do a video before this came out on a strategy how you would win, right? And the magic number I think you would need to invest in this thing would be $7,000. Here's what I'm saying. So each week they have like the double. So it's like the daily double, where like whatever money you put in, it equals double the votes. So if you dropped in $200 on each one of those, you could easily $7,000 would win. But that's the mindset. I was thinking $7,000 to win $13,000. But here's the kicker: you don't win $13,000. You win about $4,000 because they're putting in the taxable prize amount as $35,000. So they're putting the flights, all that. So they're bumping up to $35,000 for you to have this shitty photo shoot for $35,000. And then here's the thing: they're not relying on you to pay the taxes. They're taking the taxes out of your prize money. So
Wow.
so they're, yeah, I mean, so you're really you're dropping about $7,000 to $8,000 just to win $4,000 and to meet Keen Hodder, which you can meet him at any convention for $40.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about it, I don't know how accessible it is, the setting that they're shooting at. They say it's the house that American Horror Story and other shows were shot on and all of that. But in reality, like when you think about the whole scope about like quote unquote like famous houses, set pieces or whatever, you might as well just go on Airbnb and find something.
It'll be less than $35,000.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it's just like the rewards just get more and more watered down. They don't make any sense for all of the work that you're putting in, but at the same time, it is like a pyramid scheme or an MLM where and what is it? I think I turned off the text and email updates, but they update you. They remind you every single day. They email you a lot on, here's another way you can share or advertise this thing and give us more money, and more views and more notoriety and stuff. But also for what you're talking about, for the amount of exposure that they have now, because the economy is shit and everyone needs money, the quality of work for the amount of exposure and the amount of money that they're getting from this thing, it's just such bullshit. You look on their Instagram and it's just like, it's not really anything that eye-catching or impressive, not something that you would normally even see from a magazine.
It looks like a scam. It looks like it. I mean, the website, everything looks like an absolute scam.
I mean, it's pretty polished for one thing. I think one of the things where in my brain, at least subconsciously, where I was kind of convinced I wanted to be a part of this thing, is they have those cute little videos where Jim is dressed up as a vampire.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Welcome to the contest. Ooh. And they even have replying to people's comments that you can make on the forum or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, get each other out, like, we can do this, guys. And he's like, ooh.
But the saddest part is, like, I flood these Face of Horror groups, their Facebook groups, and it's so sad because these people in there are cheering at each other for, oh my God, you're in first place, good job, yeah. And I'm like, you're in the first place of round 1 out of like 9.
I mean, who even knows? Like, there could be 100 first place winners out there, like right now for the first round. And I think the first round actually ended today.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
Thankfully, on day 2 or 3, I caught on to it, and I was like, okay, shut it down, guys. Oops,
No. What you're talking about is, so I'm gonna explain how it goes. So the first round, right? So the first round, there's like 4 cuts in the first round. So they go from, let's say there's 50 people. So they go from, if you're top 35, then they cut. And then they do top 25, cut, 20, cut, 15, cut, 10, cut. It goes on for a long time. The first round goes on for a month. A long time with all these cuts. And then finally they get down to the top 5. And if you are, then of course they go for the number 1 or number 2. If you're number 2, you can go into the wild card round, which is another scam because I got into the wild card round. But it's another scam. Now you're fighting with God knows how many other people. It's definitely interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, bringing it back to Whiskey Tango again, it's interesting because it's really, well, mostly I'm just confused No shade against her necessarily, because I don't know her. I don't know what connections she has, but there has been some speculation about her just having connections and having enough money to have put that in there. She has 1,900 followers on Instagram, and I don't know what her followership looks like on Facebook.
Well, I also hear that she has a huge following on OnlyFans.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, you're doing well on OnlyFans. It can't be that hard to feed that into, hey, like, imagine if you were just like doing really well on OnlyFans or whatever revenue that you're getting in, and say you get 1,000 or something, you're just like, hey, so and so, or hey, group of people, let's organize, and like I'll Venmo you, I'll Zelle you or whatever, and then you can just feed it back into my votes or whatever.
Yep.
And not that did happen, but it could, and that's the biggest. I think that for me is the biggest red flag out of all of this, is you have to pay in order to play. Pay to play.
Yes.
It's a gamble. It's a scam. Like you said, lottery. And it's just so, and at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with horror. It has nothing to do with how talented or how much of a horror nerd, a horror fan you are.
No, because it's not a competition of who is the biggest horror fan. The biggest horror fan, it would be an open forum for people you can vote for whoever. But you can only vote for people you know. So like, how are you really the biggest horror fan if complete strangers can't vote for you? You know what I mean? If you have everybody, let's say 1,000 people, and you put all 1,000 people down, and there's a website that everybody can just go on and pick someone. That's how you pick the biggest horror. To be honest, you pick the biggest horror fan. Like, that person should have a video saying why they're the biggest horror fan.
That's a great point, because I tried putting videos up on there and it just doesn't work. You just have to put photos on there, which I added a lot of photos.
That is you're cutting in and out.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but your video is going in and out. It's like flashing like crazy.
Oh. Is it still doing it?
Yeah, it's still going.
Oh my god. What should I do? Well, maybe, let me try and turn it on and off.
Okay. There you are. All right.
Ooh, scary.
Oh, you're doing it again.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm just going to leave my video off for now.
Okay, fine. All right.
As long as you can hear me, okay?
Yes. But like, no one knows who you are. You're going by pictures, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a better way to figure out who's the biggest horror fan.
There's so many better ways, and I'm sure because like I said, I don't enter in contests very often. Just because that's just like this, like such a. That's why Face of Horror is so smart, and why it's so good, because it empowers you. It makes you feel good. You're just
it's
like,
addictive.
It's addictive, yeah, for you, but also for everyone who you get involved, because it's so easy to pull ranks in the beginning. Like I was in the first round, and basically they slash anyone who isn't in the top 20 of your bracket. And like I said, I shot up to quote unquote first place really, really fast, and everyone was really excited for me. So I'm so glad that I caught it very, very early. It would have been a lot more mortifying for me if I had gone any further down that path.
Yeah.
But it's already really mortifying, especially like amongst everything that's been happening in my life. It was, obviously it's a downer, but it's not going to help you. It's not going to help anyone. And that's why, we're trying to talk about it, because it's so scandalous. There's so many things.
But here's the scariest part about it, though. If you Google Faces Horror competition, there's numerous articles and videos of contestants from each and every city last year who were number one, and that local news did a piece on them being number one in this heart competition.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yes. So all these people are number one, and they thought, hey, let me contact the local news because this is a big thing. You know, Baltimore, Maryland. The number one person in Westfall is in Baltimore, Maryland, and had no idea that that person was number one out of hundreds of people, if not thousands.
Yeah. Oh, you know what was funny? Just today, it had nothing to do with me or anyone who I knew. But, you know, just I was going through my Instagram stories, looking at other people's stories and stuff. And what do you know? I got an ad, like a sponsored story that someone paid for. And he was like, vote for me. I'm in Face of Horror. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yes, I got those too.
Yeah, I can't say I didn't try doing the same. I was like, what if I like boosted this post for like $1 a day, you know? And thankfully I only did it for one day. But dude,
But Face of
yeah,
Horror, but I tell everybody, Face of Horror is not the only one. So, I mean,
yes.
there's an inked one, there's a Maxim one, there's a 40 and Fabulous, there's a skateboarding one. There's all of these competition, and I feel like they're ran by the same guy or person, and there's a bunch of minions out here that runs the rest of them.
Yeah, that's insane. But
Because
it's also
they,
how like
they, I'm sorry.
oh sorry. I was just also gonna say it's insane how people actually put their faces to this competition, which also makes it so convincing. Like I said, Jim is in those cute, you know, quirky little videos, walking, holding your hand through the competition, and you know, using that cute little Dracula derivative accent. And you're just like, oh my god, like it feels, you know, if you've never come across like one of these competitions before, which I never have,
it feels real,
pretty legit. But then you look into the fine print, and I only did so. I don't know if they tell you that all like outright that you're separated into brackets, which is another thing. It like the contest keeps you super separated from all the other contestants except for the ones that are in your group, which is super deceptive too, because you can't actually see your real ranking, period.
Correct.
Like you're in first place, but in actuality you're probably like 17,339 or something
Exactly.
like that.
But also too, but even in your bracket, if somebody's ahead of you, there's no number to say, oh, this person is 20 votes ahead of you.
Yeah.
So yes.
It's such a mess, and it's so sad. And yeah, I also know someone who's in the Inked magazine competition, and I didn't realize that was a scam either. I thought that was legit, and I was, you know, legitimately excited for her. But you know, now that me and a couple of my friends are aware, we you know, one of us has tried to tell her, you know, girl, it's a scam. But no, she you know, like anyone else, she wants to hold on to it, you know, and hold on to, you know, the chance that you get to feature in a magazine and you get money. Like everyone wants that opportunity.
Yeah. And I hope this next statement, don't get me canceled. But there was a maximum competition out last year, and I would say someone I knew was in that competition. I saw it on Facebook, and you know, I clicked on to see what the women in the bracket look like. Listen, this is not saying anything mean or anything like that, you know. But we all know what a woman in Maxim look like.
Right.
And a lot of these women they hadn't been spending big money with the opportunity in their mind that they were going to be on the front cover of a Maxim magazine.
Mhm.
And the woman who won that competition looked like she belonged on the Maxim magazine. And I'm like, well, this is so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that's a, yeah, and that's just the thing is, in again, this particular like competition, you don't have to be anyone specific to win
No,
this competition.
you don't have to be
You
a
like
horror fan. You don't have to
other
be a
than
horror fan. You
yeah,
don't have
other
to be a
than
horror fan.
fat wallet, you just have to have a fat wallet.
Yep.
You have you have to know people who have a fat wallet. But then it's just like, then what? What do you really win at the end of the day? A shitty photo shoot, maybe a feature in this magazine that I even I don't know if it if it even exists, dude.
Well, Rogue Morgue exists, and I can't say anything bad about them, but but I can't piss them off, but the photo shoot was never in the magazine.
Oh, really?
Listen. I put that in my video. I was like, I was looking at Rogue Morgue religiously. I was waiting for this fucking photo shoot. Unless they put it in there in the last month or so, there was no fucking photo shoot. And those pictures are the ones that's supposed to go in the photo shoot. Now, do you think Rogue Morgue is going to put those damn pictures in their fucking photo shoot, in their magazine?
I mean, straight up, if it was my magazine, I would be like, what the hell?
No.
Take those. We're going to do that again. We are
Those
going to take
pictures look like
again.
Jim took his digital camera and took those pictures. It does not look like Rogue Morgue sent their photographers there to take those pictures.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, like, how hard is it to get someone out there with their DSLR? Where's the depth? Where's the quality, dude? Like,
I'm just saying, listen, if you're gonna do your scam like all the way fucking through, all through the scam.
It's a fuck. Sorry, it's a messed up blessing in disguise. Sorry.
But guess what? The scam is working. But listen, I'm calling it a fucked up scam, but the scam is working for tens of thousands of people right now. And to hear these stories of these people who are like, I need to win this 13,000 hours because I need to pay for teeth, or I need to win this $13,000 because my child needs braces. Like, they honestly think that they're going to win.
Yeah.
Or they even have a shot of winning.
It's so sad. And they get their friends and their family and people to invest in.
And I'm guilty of doing it.
What was that?
I'm saying I'm guilty of doing it because the last competition, I was like, oh my goodness, I need 13,000 hours. That'd be great. But it wasn't for me though. This is the part that pissed me off. It wasn't necessarily about them for me. I wanted the photo shoot in Rogue Morgue. That's what I wanted to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I would have been pissed off if that's how the fucking pictures look.
Yeah. No, same. Like, I would be honestly kind of offended. And like, say in the happy idealistic world, if I had been the winner and those were my pictures, I'd be like, what the hell? Go through all of this, all these trials and stuff for the pictures to come out like that. Like, I literally have just friends who have DSLRs or even phones. Like, someone get out their iPhone like 14 Pro and it'll look miles better than whatever that was.
But not only that, if you're doing a professional photo shoot, because that's what it's called, like, where's the person to do her makeup and her hair and her and pick out the outfit for her?
It was not good. And I know she was like trying to make herself look like run down and like she was in a horror movie and all that, but it looked borderline campy.
Yeah.
But it would need more effort in order to be campy. That's the
yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's like so much shade, but if you're advertising, if you're putting something out where it's like this whole big thing, this whole big event, and all of these rewards and stuff, it has to be like good, especially for all the stuff that people are putting themselves through, like all
4 months. It's like 3 or 4 months of hell.
Yeah.
It really is. I
And
mean, the competition is fun, but it's stressful. And I said in my video, it's extremely stressful because you're in first place and you look around 2 seconds later and now you're in fifth place and you're like, oh my God, I need people to vote. I need people to vote. And you're harassing all of your friends and your family to vote. And it's stressful.
mm-hmm. It it's just such a shame because literally, like people just yeah, people need money. And you give them this what seems like an easy, not easy, but like an opportunity where they make you feel like you have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But really, like, no. And I've also watched TikToks, and I've seen comments in defense of the competition in spite of all of the red flags, and that's where their mindset is they're just in denial because they want this thing so bad, and they literally do think that they have a chance, and they're
Mm-hmm.
whether or not they're being nasty about it, because quite a few people are. I've heard of
Yeah.
a lot of
A lot of people have been
women,
nasty.
yeah, a lot of bashing and harassment and all of this stuff. But all of that stuff aside, the mindset is just like, well, it's a competition. There's going to be losers, and
Mm-hmm.
that's their, but it's not a very nuanced mindset. It's a very in denial type mindset.
But the thing I've heard majority of people say too is this, which makes absolutely no sense. They say, "Well, even if I don't win, I can get my name out there." Get your name out there to who?
Yeah.
You're getting your name out there to the people you already know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only people
Yeah.
who are voting for you. Like complete strangers don't know who you are. Like it's not an open forum contest.
Yeah. Which is, yeah, that's another great point too, is just like you should be able to see everyone else in the competition somehow, but I guess
Here's the thing. If I want to go on to the competition and vote, right? Let's say hypothetically, let's say my sister sends me a link. Says, Travis, come and vote for me. I might go on there, and guess what? There might be someone on there who is more of a horror fan than her, and I might vote for them. But I don't even have that option. That's fucked up. But I don't even have that option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no real yeah, no, there, and that's the really smart, deceptive part about it is if it was an open forum, less people would enter, and if less people enter, then they're getting less revenue, and
Correct.
that's the.
And here's the thing too, and this is where I'm gonna get a lot of shit from the horror nerds. It's okay for us to say. I mean, there's a huge percentage of the horror fan base. They are nerds. They have low self-esteem. They have, I mean, they feel like they're rejects from, society. And this competition is definitely preying on people who have low self-esteem and feel like they're rejects because now they can be the king of the nerds. Or queens of the nerds, let's just say. So I feel like it's also preying on people with low self-esteem.
Yeah.
That want to be accepted.
Yeah. And that's another good point too, is like the competition itself is weirdly, thinking about it, it's weirdly generic. It's just like Faces of Horror. Are you going to be the next Face of Horror? Campaign and do your best. But in reality, it's just like, well, what aspect of that are we really competing for? Is it, is it being the ultimate horror nerd? Is it being like the sexiest horror nerd? Is it all they let you do is answer 3 questions, write like a 150 character max bio, and input up pictures, So obviously there's like a visual aspect to it because you can only say so many things in on your page answering the questions and all that. But yeah, I think it's a very visual thing. I don't think you actually, and it's just like the same thing throughout the competition. There's no way of like, there's no challenges. There's no like real way of advancing other than monetarily.
Yeah.
And it just really doesn't make any sense. It's not a real competition. It's really not.
I wonder how many fans Whiskey Tango has on OnlyFans. That's interesting.
I don't know because she doesn't have her link on there. She only I saw she only has Faces of Horror, the website, on her bio.
I wonder who's going on her OnlyFans.
Like, who found that out? Someone. Oh my God! Someone who was already like, wait a minute. Oh.
Someone said, I don't know who it was, but I heard from numerous people have commented that she was getting her OnlyFans clients to donate and vote for her.
I mean, that would make sense because, like, women can make hella money on OnlyFans. It's no secret. And I'm looking through her Instagram right now. You know, it looks like she does a lot of reviews, maybe? Oh, kind of, yeah. So she does, like, reviews on her Instagram, which is cool because I also used to do the same thing. I actually primarily review horror on Film Snob Reviews. And have been doing so for years. So we have that in common. We both have, you know, say over 1,000, under 2,000 followers on Instagram. But other than that, like, I'm not really sure what else is really going on here. She doesn't have anything else like in her bio. Literally just Face of Horror in her bio. And interesting. So she has 1,900 followers, but she's following 3,600 people or accounts. Let's see. Plus size performer from the PNW, personality, Face of Horror, artist supporting artist. Well, I mean, it's fun.
Well, I looked her up.
Like,
and she lives in Centralia, Pennsylvania, which is like an old ghost town in Pennsylvania. I've been there before. So I know she lives out there because she won a competition out there. So I looked her up. So she is a real person. Her name is real and everything, but it's just really suspect.
It is.
Because I would be bragging about that. Listen, I would be bragging about that shit. Listen, if I won Faces of Horror competition, I would be on TV. I would be bragging about it. I'll be walking around with a Faces of Horror t-shirt on at every damn convention. I would be ashamed of it.
You know, I heard that she at one point privated all of her social media, apparently, just because she was getting bashed so much, which is unfortunate because no one does, you know, well, not no one, but, you know, most people don't deserve, you know, to be cyberbullied and harassed and all of that. She does seem like just like a you know, just a normal person and all that, and that's cool, but it is still very suspect. Because it's just like, where is the competitive aspect to it other than financially, you know? And like I said before, it's just very generic. What aspect of horror is it that we're competing? You know, like, it just really doesn't make any sense, you know? Especially when you look at people with really professional portfolios or photos that they're uploading and all that, and the little bit of information that you're allowed to write about yourself and all of that. It's a popularity contest, sure. A lot of competitions are, but it's all about that wallet. It's all about that bag.
But if you go to a Comic-Con or you go to a horror convention and they have a costume contest, it is based on who has the best costume. It really is, you know? And I just feel like that's how it should have been. Who has the best, who looks like they're the biggest horror fan? You know,
exactly.
But, I mean, who looks like they're the biggest horror fan? I mean, it's not who looks the best looking, who has the biggest tits. I mean, who, you know what I mean, who has the most money. It should be like, who looks like the biggest horror fan?
Yeah,
I'm not even the biggest horror fan. I'm the first one to admit I am not the biggest horror fan. I'm not. I've joined these Facebook groups, and they're, trust and believe, there's some horror fans that are bigger than me, and they live and breathe and talk about horror 24/7. That's not me. I have other things that I enjoy. I like horror, but I'm not. I used to call myself the biggest horror fan, but I'm not the biggest horror fan. I'm a horror fan.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, it's such a subjective thing, and also, how is that something that could be like measured, even? You know,
yeah.
I mean, you could make you know, anyone can make their case, just like, oh, I go to every horror con and blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. I think it would have been really, really, and there's plenty of those, obviously, especially considering like we're right around the corner from Halloween and it's spooky season. And it just would have been so much better if it was just like a costume contest, you
Yes.
know, and if they were, because they probably will, unless, hopefully our voices and this video and like other people's testimonials per se gain traction, and people really start actually catching on to these, how these contests actually function and what they're at, like, where their intentions lie. If I were to say this competition and competitions like these were to continue, they have to get rid of the pay for votes aspect.
I agree.
But then they just wouldn't, I guarantee you, then they just wouldn't run the competitions at all, because that's not what they're in it for.
They're in it for the money. Because here's the thing. If Faces of Horror sent me an email, right, saying join this competition is strictly through email, I'll be like, click, that's a scam. If Faces of Horror would have called me, mailed me anything to mail, I would say that was a scam. But it's something about Facebook that makes it seem legit.
Yeah.
It makes it seem legit.
It really does.
And if it was on any other medium, everybody in that competition would not be in that competition. They would say, this is a scam. Oh, I got an email talking about something crazy. This is a scam. It's sending me to some weird website. It's a scam. But since it's attached to Facebook, people are like, okay, Facebook is legit. Facebook would not allow a scam to be on their platform.
It definitely makes it seem more justified. But yeah, like I said, where whether consciously or subconsciously, decided to put faith in the competition was those videos that Jim made. Those cutesy little, like, quick little videos, introducing himself.
Fun. And I like that his little bio said he was a Filipino American indie director.
Yeah.
And I love indie.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, it just made me. It brings your guard down. And you see that Kane Hodder is part of it, and one of the nicest guy in horror. That and the Filipino indie horror director, and he's gonna give you a walk-in role on his movie, and like. But here's the other thing too. I wouldn't have been upset if he took that money and funded a movie.
Oh yeah.
But I wouldn't even been upset if he did that.
Yeah, I wonder how. I actually wonder how large their operation actually is.
Oh, it's huge.
It can't just be Jim and Kane.
No, it's not Jim. He's one of the minions. He's the Face of Horror minion. But there's a skateboarding one. There's an ink one. There's a Maxim. There's all these ones. And but yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Because I mean.
Really so insane. I mean, Jim, like, how or where he's positioned right now is like one of those brand ambassadors for like those clickbait like TikTok channels. It's on that level, or it is actually, because it's just like, get as many views and as many people involved as possible, and it is like, it does really act like an MLM or a pyramid scheme, because you're roping your friends and family into it.
Yeah.
And that was and I know you experienced that too. That's the shitty part about it. I felt awful that I wasted people's time.
It's the shittiest part too, when you put that much money in and you fucking lose.
Yeah.
You feel fucking. It's like going to Vegas or Atlantic City or the casino, and you just put $500 on the blackjack table and just waltz it all. It's just a fucking sick feeling in your stomach.
Yeah, no, really. And, is the money, all of the money, even going to well, we know that all of the money is not going into the charity.
No. 25% is.
Great. I mean, at least part charity, but that still means that it's a for-profit organization, isn't it?
But here's the thing, though. But this is the thing, though, which I don't understand. You can't write it off as a tax write-off. Your charitable contribution, it says that because I put it in my video. You can't write that off as a tax write-off because this was my selling point to everybody because I know a lot of real estate people, business people, and I said, and it was towards the end of the year, I said, hey, listen, you need a tax write-off, right? It's going to Plan B, and it's going to help me. Donate $100, and you can use it to write off your taxes at the end of the year. But if you got to read in that fine print, it is not a charitable contribution, and it's not a tax. You cannot use it as a tax.
But maybe they can as an organization.
Oh yeah, they will.
Yeah, like oh my god, it's ridiculous.
They definitely will. And that's part of the scam.
Totally messed up, though, because this like amount will go towards charity and blah blah blah, but they get that
$1 million is
donated, and then they get the write-off. Dude, that's oh my god, that's just so icky.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I was telling, and it's a good thing that I got, I got into the know when I did, because my dad, I have family in the Philippines and in Vallejo, Filipino family. It's big and we're all over the place. He was about to share it with everyone. And thankfully he didn't. And I was just like, I told him, I'm like, well, you can tell them to not be in the contest and just warn them all. Maybe even flame it a little bit because, obviously it was just like I was in a position where it, obviously the red flags just, come at you really fast when you allow yourself to see them, and you're not, making yourself be in denial because you really want this thing. It sucks. It sucks so bad. And it's a little bit of a
Listen, I'm jealous. I'm jealous that I didn't come up with a scam. I'm kind of pissed off because that's an easy scam. It really is. It's the easiest, most brain dead scam ever. And guess what? People fall for it. I fell for it. You fell for it. It is the easiest scam. But we wonder how people get scammed over the phone by telemarketing and so forth. It's possible. Anybody is capable of being scammed.
It's like a bacteria. Like scams just keep evolving. As the smarter that people get, the more in the know with technology and stuff. They're learning how to try and remove all of those red flags and stuff. Especially like this is another thing to consider for the future. But like AI is going to start being a really bad thing when it comes to scams. I guarantee it. People are just gonna be like, oh, Bradley Cooper's trying to talk to me. I don't know.
Well, Chai, I'm gonna make a confession. Are you ready? I'm pretty sure everybody done checked out because we're at an hour. So I tried cheating during the competition. Okay. So
I'm sure not the first.
So there's these sites, right? You can go on and you can buy people to vote in Mexico or wherever, right? Venezuela, somewhere in South America. So I use this, and I am telling you, I paid like $40, and the votes were coming in. Boom, 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 boom. I was number one. And then I got an email out of blue, and we know it's not you, but we have to take away X amount of your votes because we're seeing voter fraud or something like that.
Oh wow, interesting. But they can see that.
I guess so. They had a sophisticated enough technology to see if somebody was cheating with the pay votes.
Okay. It could have been a thing too where it's just like because you have they get your credit card information and all of that, which is also really like really
Yeah.
sketch. Who knows where that's going. Um but maybe they saw kind of like the receipts or like some sort of weird source happening with those. So that could have
I don't
been
know. But you
could have been
cannot
like
win. You cannot win a competition depending on free votes. You're not going to win.
no, absolutely not.
You
And
cannot
it's
win.
sad. I mean, it's not sad because the person who I warned, they were just like, "Thank you so much for telling me," and they were just like, "You know what? I'm just gonna advise everyone not to put money in." They were just like, "I just want to see how far I get," and I'm like, "Okay, see how far you get." I think my account is still active because I really, I don't know, I don't want to go on the site anymore. I'm done. I'm done with
You're probably
that.
still in first place.
Huh?
I say you're probably still in first place.
Probably. I don't know. 'Cause, I think the new round starts, but I'm just absolutely not taking part in any of this anymore. I'm done, bro. I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm chill. I'm good, man.
Yeah.
But
I was like the nerve of them to come out again with the bullshit. Like you got people for about $7 million last year. You got them for like
oh
$7 million last year, and you have the nerve to come back for round two. Like, whoa.
yeah, man. I just really hope that this convinces people to stay out of it and not give these people their money. And like I said, if there are, which we know because it's that kind of competition, they're not going to do that because that's how they get their money. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the only real way that this competition should be able to continue is to remove the pay for votes aspect and make it an actual competition, maybe with judges or a jury, and that kind of thing. Like treat it more like almost like how they do film festivals and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff, just like a real, because there are real competitions out there, but this is so clever.
It
So
is.
clever.
It,
I just
it
hope
it's
people
clever
are.
but not clever. It's clever but
Mhm.
not clever. But Chai, I think I agree with you. That if you sit back and think, if you're sitting in this competition right now and you're in denial or you're like, I'm gonna ride this out. Think about this. If everybody in that competition did free votes, there would be no competition.
Mhm.
They wouldn't have the money to send you off for the prize money. They depend on you to pay.
Mhm.
That's the only way there's a competition. It's all pay.
Exactly. And this is so was the prize money the same last year as it
Yeah,
was?
it was $13,000, which is not a lot of money compared to the other scam like Ink and Maxim. They were giving like 20,000, 25,000. I'm like, well, why did the horror fans
Mhm.
get less money?
Yeah, I guess because this one hasn't been out for as long.
Probably.
Yeah. I just hope I convince people, not just convince people, but I really hope that more people such as yourself, like more YouTubers or TikTokers or whatever, are able to bring more light to this situation because it's ripping people off. And that's so sad. It's just so sad.
And I've messaged Jim numerous times.
Mhm.
Come on my show, buddy. If it's not a scam, come on my show.
Mhm.
He's not going to do it.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, and
Because
he
Jim has seen this video. I'm telling you this. Jim has seen this video. I mean, not this video. He's seen the video. He has seen the
right.
video with his own eyes,
Mhm.
and he refuses to reply.
Yeah. And he knows. He knows. Either he knows or he's just trying to stay out of it and, get the bag.
Yep.
And that's so unfortunate because it's just like I'm like, when I first started the competition, I'm like, oh my God, like he's Filipino, I'm Filipino. It's always nice to see like a diverse filmmaker, like a minority filmmaker face.
That's what I
Like,
saw. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a Filipino
yeah,
film director.
yeah. And then like they made those like little movies and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's a cute little Dracula. Oh, like I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah, no,
And
he's very likable. He's a very
how
likable
they sucker
personality.
you in.
Uh-huh.
But if you go
Jim,
on his Facebook, he looks like a straight douchebag.
does he?
Yes, he looks like a straight douchebag on his Facebook. Like he looks like he has an attitude problem. So like, see, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. But yeah, oh, they have over 75,000 Instagram followers for Face of Horror. That is so interesting.
And they blocked me out. So I'm completely blocked. Because I was sharing the fucking videos like crazy. And so they blocked both of my accounts out. So I
Yeah.
hope people who are watching share these videos. They can't block us all.
But yeah, honestly, it's crazy too because I'm looking at it and it says 11 other people, 11 of my mutuals also follow them.
Wow.
It's crazy. They have a hold on a lot of people, like everywhere.
Yes.
And that's
and no
just
matter what you tell them, or even like I told you, I had a horror friend and I sent her that thing I saw she was in the competition. She literally unfriended me. I've had numerous people do what? Yeah, she's in this one. And I've had numerous people who are I said I would send that to, and it was like, oh, Travis Bruce, fuck you, shut the fuck up, or like, and I'm looking like, why you telling me shut the fuck up? I'm telling you, this is a scam. I wish somebody came to me last year and told me it was a scam.
Right? Like,
I wish one person. I wish somebody would have posted my video last year saying that it was a fucking scam.
Real friends tell you what the fuck is up.
Because when I jumped into that competition last year, I'm telling you, before I jumped in, I was Googling if it was a scam. And I didn't see nothing about it being a scam. So I was like, okay, this is good to go. But I'm glad now that if you Google Face of Horror as a scam, my video comes up.
Yeah, your video, and then I have I shared that with you. I saw that other woman.
Yes, on TikTok.
And the comments under her TikTok are also really interesting because there's a lot of other people who are just saying the same thing. Yep, last round, everyone's a semifinalist unless you and then the people with money just take you out. They win. No matter what. And how like late stage capitalist is that? Just so icky. And I'm so excited for this to like, it's like you're kind of cracking at the surface and all of that. But like, this needs to like blow wide open. Like this needs to be like widespread common knowledge because it's just an unethical, rigged practice solely for the sake of this competition making revenue, and then you barely get anything in return.
Nothing. And unless this information is put out into society, these competitions are going to continue going. Continue going. There will be a Face of Horror 2024, 2025, 26, 27, and somebody's going to be making millions for people. And then we're going to be looking around in 2035 and be like, oh, dude, do you remember back then when people were getting scammed on Facebook with these competitions? I never did. Those people were stupid.
Yeah, for real. But that's how it should be, like it does make you feel really stupid.
It does. It's supposed to make you feel stupid to get scammed.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, why didn't I see it? Oh,
you're like, oh, he got me with the Filipino Dracula. Son of a bitch.
Damn. I can't. Get over the Filipino Dracula. Oh, he's so... I'm like, good for you, cuz. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was my, thankfully, I can go into deep with it because I have people like you who brought it to my attention. I did my research and I actually looked at the fine print.
Yeah.
And I was immediately unsold on the whole thing. So I hope that everyone else does the same, whether or not you still want to participate in the competition. Just don't put money in it. Don't let it.
Yeah, your friends or family put money in it.
Mm-hmm. If you're just going to be in the competition like that, cute. You're like, you're in a competition,
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just kind of crazy that it's still ongoing, because like I can really see this just start, like I can smell the scandal coming. I can smell like the video essays and the YouTuber like exposed videos coming and all of that.
Yep. I mean, I think so. This is what I think when it comes to the face of horror. Everybody in the indie community, as you know, we are attached to them. They know it's a scam. Everybody in the indie horror community knows it's a scam. Art the Clown knows it's a scam.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the horror community knows that this competition is a scam.
Yeah.
I feel like real horror fans know that this competition is a scam. Like
Mm-hmm.
real horror fans that are in the horror groups, they know this is a scam. But it's the casuals. And I think it's going to take at least one more cycle of Face of the Horror before everybody knows it's a scam.
Yeah.
It's going to take one more cycle. So the next one is going to be the last one. I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I hope this one is the last one because
I do too.
It just makes me so sad how much people are getting ripped off. Normal people like myself. And their families are getting ripped. Like it's literally insane.
And they're getting excited and pumped too. I mean, I saw when the thing was opening. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm pumped. I'm about to run this 13,000. I'm like, oh my God, let me start resharing. That's when I started resharing my video out because I was like, people have to know.
Yeah, maybe instead of, because there are all those people who are like, oh, you're just trying to get us out from entering in the competition and trying to sabotage us, or there's denial overall. You already have one that says Face of Horror is a scam. Maybe something like the Truth of the Face of Horror competition.
Yes.
Or something like that, to where they're like, oh, well, what is it? Like what's going on, kind of thing. Because I still
That's
have
the title of this video.
yeah. But yeah, honestly, no matter what their attitude is, well, I mean, if you're just gonna deny all of the red flags that are happening, then that's, at that point, it's kind of on you.
Yeah.
If you're just gonna keep denying it, then we tried, but that's
continue denying that. By the way, I got a bag of gold I can sell you for a couple $1,000 too.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
it's just,
it's sad.
It's sad, bro. But also that fires me up more to just take this competition down right now.
That's my job. I mean, I mean, listen. I've been watching my my views on my video, and it is blowing up. Like that video is blowing up. I stopped sharing it, and people are watching it. People are commenting. People are saying, "Tell me thank you for the video." People are subscribing. So, yeah, I mean,
yeah, you just gotta get it widespread. Even if like other YouTubers too, who could like also share this with the audience and stuff. Like we're blowing it right, like wide open, and it's just all of these pay for vote competitions, not just Face of Horror, because I'm just really concerned for one of the people who I know who are still running in this competition. Not this one, but another one that's also pay for votes. It's just like, I think she's in denial too. And I care for her in that, like, she deserves the money. I deserve the money. A lot of people just deserve to be handed over $13,000. But, if it sounds too, like people say, if it sounds too good to be true, it definitely is.
It is. But also, too, what sucks about this competition, like, there's no runner-up prize. Like, what competition doesn't have that?
That's so true.
I mean, shit. But Chai, thank you for coming on. I'm pretty sure. So as we know, people on YouTube have a short attention span. So we're at 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I feel like everybody has done checked out to this point. So we can pretty much say anything. So, so I mean, at that point, since no one's paying attention, Jim, fuck you. You're a piece of shit.
There you go.
Yes.
What are you doing, Jim? You're supposed to represent. What is this, bro?
Oh my goodness.